Jesus, not again.
Doctor! It woke up.
Good, perfect. I've done it.
Is she really alive?
Does it look like she's dead? Good girl. And welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Your Advertiser Friendly. Holy shit, oh my gosh. That's insanity. That's like the moment of demonification. Anyways. So, oh my god. So speaking of crazy and insane, tonight's movie is about obsession. It's about envy and jealousy, and it is about violence because of these things. And that movie is all set in the world of fashion. Yes, it is the Neon Demon. What is this movie about? Well, it's about this young girl who goes to Los Angeles to become a model, and she meets people who are, well, certainly friendly enough at the beginning, but as she becomes popular and starts getting those premium gigs, that friendship quickly turns to jealousy, quickly turns to envy, quickly turns to obsession with what she has and how she has it. And that stuff turns into sweet, sweet violence. So, honestly, this movie is so weird and strange and very slow. It's hard to describe, but let's get to the scores, and I will sort of elaborate from there. So, violence and gore, 2.5 out of 5. There is actually a surprising bit of blood in this movie. I mean, there are some, like, blood and human chunks that are getting, have to be kind of washed off, and there's some bathing in blood, what it looks like, and there's a few scenes in the thing with an eyeball, and so, I mean, not overly splatterific, but definitely worth the 2.5 out of 5. So there you go. Shock value 3 out of 5. Now look, the movie's got necrophilia and cannibalism in it. So yes, there is some shocking moments in this movie that seem to actually kind of come out of nowhere. And especially toward the end, this scene thing with the eyeball, and you're like, oh man, is she gonna, I mean, I think, no, she can't, no, she's not, is she? Okay, she did, oh my god, she did, alright, well, that's that. Anyway, so 3 out of 5 in the shock value. So, plot, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. Look, the plot's pretty basic. Girl comes to Los Angeles, wants to become a model. She becomes a model. Her friends get jealous, and bad things happen. The end. Anyways, and the journey from those basic points are just meandering. It's such a meandering movie. Look, I know they're trying to be very artistic, and it is a beautiful movie, but it is definitely not progressing any real amount during the first half of the movie. It is so slow, and you want it to actually do something to progress the plot. And the development of the story just kind of is like, okay, here you go, okay, the movie's done. And I think it lacks a cohesiveness when it's going from point A to point B to point C. It has a very disjointed feel. I mean, it's almost like borderline pretentious on what it's trying to do, and I mean, I guess you could say it's somewhat obtuse. It really just it's strange, and the narrative just doesn't seem to have a flow to it. It's almost like the story is sort of there to provide a skeleton for all the visual weirdness and the visual goodness, but in the end, there's just too much, like, why is this happening? How, like, what is the point of this scene? It doesn't seem to make sense. We have a character that just sort of was there to, like, I don't know, be someone, and you know, things like, there's like this scene where the model, is attacked in her room by the sleazy motel caretaker or owner, who is played by Keanu Reeves, and he sticks a knife in her mouth, and then it's like he says something, he's like, water, and then she wakes up, and it was like a dream? Did it actually happen? I mean, there was no evidence that anything happened to her, and it just seemed like it was just there to be a weird thing. And then all of a sudden, someone's knocking on her door trying to get in. He doesn't, then she hears the guy in the next room and a woman screaming, and it sounds like she's getting murdered, and it's like, why is it, what's the point of all of this? I mean, is it just so that she can call her friend and escape to her house? I mean, it just, there's just these scenes that just kind of like don't mesh, and therefore, I mean, I gotta give it a 2.5 out of 5. So anyway, so acting, now see, this is where the movie has its strong point. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 because, like, there's dialogue, but there are these great big moments where there isn't a lot of dialogue, and the actresses and actors are emoting and telling the story through their facial expressions and their movement, their body language, and it is so damn effective and wonderful. I mean, the person who plays the makeup artist, she is creepy as hell. I mean, she just oozes this essence of, 45-year-old pedophile grooming a 12-year-old girl. That's what she emotes out. I mean, she seems, and she's so small and so, seemingly harmless, but you can just tell by the way she looks and leers at this girl. Even from the beginning when she's staring at her in the mirror, the way, she touches her and does her makeup is just so ghoulish, and the way the other models look at her, and it's just little things like this scene where something's happening and the model's just staring at it happening, and something just nuts just went, and she just cracks a little, and she has this little twitch in her lip, and it was like I'm like, bam! I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel if I was witnessing something like this. I've just lost half my sanity points, and I just kind of snapped a little. Things like that, just beautifully done. So I've got to give it a 5 out of 5, even though I'm no, professional acting critic. But there it is. So 5 out of 5. Nudity, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. There's this there's a scene where there's beautiful naked ladies are showering some blood and gore off of them, and they have some really nice breasts. And then you also have a scene with this the makeup artist walking around topless, doing yard work. It's definitely got some nice breast action going on there. And of course the necrophilia scene, I guess. I mean, it's not technically a dead person, but still kind of gross. Anyways, 3 out of 5. Enjoyment factor, okay, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I did like the movie, but it definitely has its problems. But I've gleaned enough enjoyment out of it, from, the nudity to some of the crazy points to the insanity that happens. And in the end, I did enjoy it, though it definitely isn't like the strongest of movies. So, 3 out of 5, and my overall impression is a 3 out of 5. Look, the movie is definitely not for everyone. It is painfully slow in the beginning. It meanders too much. It tries to be artsy for artsy's sake and kind of becomes a bit pretentious, though it is a very beautiful movie. Watching this on my 4K television, even though this isn't 4K, is still spectacular. The visuals are great. The mood it creates is eerie and creepy and sinister. And the insanity, even though it's crazy, it almost feels like it's a little, it doesn't dive deep enough into the insanity. There were opportunities where crazy shit could have happened that it didn't, and I thought, it could have been a bit more bold, which is kind of a strange thing to say about a movie that has necrophilia and cannibalism in it. But yeah, there is some feeling like maybe it pulled a little bit of the punches. Like, the violence could have had a little bit more impact, and the plot definitely could have used a bit more cohesion and work. But still a solid 3 out of 5, which averages out to be a pretty impressive 3.1 out of 5. So anyways, the Neon Demon, there you have it. Did you watch the Neon Demon? Did you like it? I know there are some people who'd be like, the Neon Demon actually isn't a horror movie. It's more like a psychological thriller. I'm like, well, fuck you, man. I get to tell you what I think a horror movie is, and that's pretty horrific. I mean, cannibalism. Fuck. You can't get more horrifying than that. Eyeballs. Well, I mean, yes, you can get more horrifying, but still, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, I can see where some people would complain. And if you really like action and coherent plots, you're probably not going to like this. I mean, it's definitely slow. It's like, it doesn't just go off the rails. It's not like that kind of crazy where it goes off the rails and then you're just in for this roller coaster of nutsoid stuff. No, it definitely like goes like this in slight waves. Not like this, but more like ripples. Because you've got it where it's like it's normal, and then it's artsy, and then it's crazy, and then it's back to normal, then it's back to artsy, then it's back to crazy. But it's slow, and it's not jolting, it's not chopped up, it's not all over the place. And so I think some people who really like crazy nutsoid movies might not like it because it doesn't really speed through and twist and turn as much as you would want it to. So I mean, it's definitely a tough movie, but I definitely found enjoyment in it, and I think, some people who like the stuff that I review on this channel will probably enjoy it. But anyways, what did you think? Leave a comment in the comment section. Thumbs up, subscribe, notification squad for the win, whatever the YouTuber people want me to say at the end of every freaking video. I don't know. Anyways, do whatever you want, but we will meet again tomorrow night with another movie. And until then, internet, you guys, you stay sexy and also stay scary. Oh yeah, and try not to get eaten, okay? Kind of leaves a bad taste in someone's mouth, right? Ah!